Hi and welcome to a new episode of White Coat. When we mention the word Alzheimer's, the first thing pops up to our mind that it means memory loss. But in fact, Alzheimer's disease is one of the forms of dementia, which means deterioration of the brain functions, not only a problem in memory. In other meaning, the brain stops functioning properly. It affects a lot of stuff like the language, behavior, personality, and the thinking process of the patient. The condition has huge impact on people's life, and now it's the biggest killer of women and third biggest killer in men in a country like United Kingdom. For example, by 2050, 20 million of Americans will develop Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's doesn't affect only the patient, it really affects the life for the loved and caring people around him and her. And they need to learn how to adapt and deal with the disease because it's part of the disease management. Today, I have the pleasure and honor to host the outstanding expert in that field who has 700 researches and publications about that disease, Professor Dr. Cottman. And White Coat was part of Alzheimer Association Walk to End Alzheimer, and we support those events and encourage everybody who lives in Southern California to participate in those walks and support Alzheimer patients. And as we know by now, for interaction with the program, send in all your questions to our official Facebook page, White Coat, or if you have any questions or concerns that you want to discuss with our guest today, you can call the numbers that will be shown on the screen at any time during the episode. أعزائي مشاهدي قنوات الكرمة وأعزائي مشاهدي وايت كوت في كل مكان في العالم، برحب بيكم في حلقة جديدة من برنامجنا الطبي وايت كوت. والحقيقة لما بنتكلم عن كلمة ألزهايمر أو الزهايمر بالعربي زي ما بنقول، كلنا بنتخيل إنه شيء خاص بالذاكرة فقط لا غير، والحقيقة إنه الموضوع مش كده خالص. إنه الألزهايمر ده جزء من مجموعة أمراض أو من مسمى عام اسمه الديمنشيا، وبشكل عام الديمنشيا هي التدهور في وظائف المخ. فمش بس بيأثر على الذاكرة لما بنقول كلمة ألزهايمر، ولكن بيأثر على سلوك المريض نفسه، بيأثر على قدراته اللغوية، بيأثر على تركيزه وطريقة تفاعله مع الأشخاص المحيطة بيه. فإذا هو مش حاجة خاصة بالذاكرة بس زي ما كلنا بنتخيل. الحقيقة النهاردة هيكون مشرفنا والواحد حاسس بفخر إنه هيقعد قدام ضيف زي ضيفنا النهاردة، دكتور كوتمان. عنده هو بروفيسور في جامعة UCI هنا، عنده أكتر من 700 بحث علمي في مجال الألزهايمر، اتكرم كذا مرة الحقيقة بسبب إسهاماته في الألزهايمر ديزيز. النهارده زي ما أنا قلت مش هنناقش بس الألزهايمر، هنناقش كل أسباب النسيان والأمراض اللي بتأثر على الذاكرة وخصوصا مع السن الكبير. هنناقش كمان طريقة اللايف ستايل أو الحياة طريقة الحياة اللي نقدر نعيشها عشان نحاول نمنع في جزء. الأخبار الكويسة إن جزء من الديمنشيا ممكن يتمنع عن طريق تمرينات للمخ، عن طريق أنواع معين من الأكلات. كل ده هنناقشه مع بعض النهارده. والحقيقة زي ما أنا قلت بيشرفنا إن يكون معانا دكتور كوتمان. زي ما أنتم عارفين دلوقتي، لو عندكم أي أسئلة عن مشكلة النسيان أو ضعف الذاكرة أو اللي تشخص فعلا ألزهايمر، أي حد من العيلة عندها أسئلة تبعتوا لنا على صفحتنا الرئيسية على الفيسبوك وايت كوت، أو تقدروا تكلمونا على الأرقام اللي هتبقى ظاهرة على الشاشة في أي وقت من أوقات الحلقة. ويلا بينا نبتدي فقرات برنامجنا النهاردة من وايت كوت.
I'm Dr. Kirti Sunder, Chief Medical Officer of Breezes Recovery and Wellness in beautiful Riverside, California. I designed Breezes with the philosophy of treating the whole person with cutting-edge transcranial magnetic stimulation, neurofeedback, and customized addiction-specific mindfulness meditation. Relapse prevention is at the heart of our state-of-the-art program, and brain optimization with our proprietary method is the key to building resilience and experiencing joy and success. Please visit us at www.breezesrecovery.com.
Yeah, I'm Carl Cottman, I'm a neuroscientist, and I've been studying the brain and how it works and trying to help people age successfully. I got my undergraduate degree at Worcester College in 1962 and got my PhD from Indiana University in 1968. So then I came directly to Irvine after my graduate degree. I've received, I have over 700 papers and received several awards, including the Lifetime Achievement Award for Research in Alzheimer's Disease. I got the Distinguished Alumni Award from my college, Worcester College. That was quite a kick. And, you know, I've had multiple awards since then. One of the papers I'm most proud of is the discovery that with physical activity, the brain induces a set of healing molecules that facilitate learning and memory and keep it healthy. So I'm a big advocate of the importance of physical activity on the health and welfare of people as they age. Well, my mission for people with Alzheimer's disease is to help promote healthy lifestyles that can delay the onset of the disease. And it's been shown in recent years that physical activity has the capacity to delay the onset of the disease. And so we've done research on that, and I'm currently the co-principal investigator on a large clinical trial run across the U.S. on Alzheimer's, on people with mild cognitive impairment, which is a precursor of Alzheimer's disease. So we're trying to slow its tracks and keep people healthy and aging successfully. That's my mission. I have a vision for the future of Alzheimer's research, which is to basically eradicate it if possible. Now, the problem is that with age, a lot of things go wrong. We need to repair the brain and keep it healthy before it starts to go downhill with age. So the idea would be to essentially promote the healing properties of the brain and to prevent people from getting injury. And that includes, you know, a healthy diet, physical activity, socialization, cognitive training, and you'll use it or lose it principle. You got to use it and then you don't lose it. My hobbies, well, I'm an avid tennis player, and I do oil painting and both seascapes as well as faces and figures. But my main hobby is science. You know, where I've come from, how I've achieved my success is due to many people. My wife, of course, my kids, you know, I have 4 kids, all successful. And, you know, I'm really quite pleased and honored to have been, I nurture them, but they nurture me too. So go back and forth. And stay tuned for me on White Coat on February 24th.
أهلا بيكم مرة تانية مشاهدينا في حلقتنا النهاردة عن الديمنشيا أو تدهور وظائف المخ بشكل عام، وخاصة هنناقش بشكل خاص مرض الألزهايمر ديزيز. بيسعدنا ويشرفنا زي ما أنا قلت في المقدمة واحد من أفضل الناس اللي ممكن تتكلم عن الموضوع ده، بروفيسور دكتور كارل كوتمان عنده أكتر من 700 بحث علمي في المجال ده بس. والحقيقة هو بيدرس ده في جامعة UCI. It's our pleasure and honor in the beginning to have Dr. Carl Cottman with us today for the first time in White Coat. We're so glad and happy to have you today.
Thank you.
الحقيقة عشان نتكلم عن ده، في أول حاجة زي ما قلنا هيبقى معانا في حلقتنا النهاردة إيه الفرق بين فكرة إنه الناس النسيان الطبيعي اللي بيحصل بالتقدم العمر، وإيه فكرة الألزهايمر، إيه فكرة الأنواع التانية أو الأمراض التانية اللي بتأثر على الذاكرة. هنشوف النهاردة إن إحنا كنا جزء كبير من المسيرة اللي حصلت هنا في أورنج كاونتي عشان to support الألزهايمر ديزيز. كمان هنشوف المقابلة بتاعتنا مع رئيسة المنظمة دي وإزاي هي ليها وجهة نظر في المرض، وإزاي إحنا كناس مقيمين هنا نقدر نساعد في الموضوع ده. Dr. Cottman, in the beginning, what does dementia mean? Since Alzheimer is part of a big umbrella called dementia, so what does dementia mean?
Sure. Well, dementia is a disorder that affects the brain and consequently our behavior. And the real understanding of dementia is that it interferes with people's normal activities of daily living. So they really don't function in a normal fashion. And they can't relate to their environment, to other people. And so it's very disabling. In fact, it's catastrophic.
So in the beginning, when we mention the word Alzheimer, it pops up to our mind, it's only like memory deficit or something, but it's part of a big umbrella called dementia. And as you explained what dementia means, so what other aspects that does dementia affect?
Well, dementia can start with memory problems and thinking, reasoning problems, slowness, a little uncertainty, and then it progresses to essentially deteriorate behavioral control, aspect of behavior called executive function, which is basically, your ability to make decisions and select pathways for your life and your daily activities and so on. So it steals that. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a big robber when you really get down to it of the life's quality and what we're made of.
Right. الحقيقة أول سؤال لدكتور كوتمان، سؤالي الأولاني دي كان عن إيه هي فكرة الديمنشيا، وزي ما اتفقنا إن إحنا هنتكلم على الديمنشيا أو تدهور وظائف المخ العقلية والحيوية بشكل عام، وهناخد منها أنواع كتير، وهنناقش جزئية الألزهايمر كواحد من الأنواع الموجودة دي. فسؤالي الأولاني ليه كان إيه هو تعريف الديمنشيا بشكل عام؟ فقال لي الديمنشيا هو تدهور في وظائف المخ العقلية والحيوية، ومش بيأثر بس على فكرة الذاكرة، فهي مجموعة من الأعراض بتأثر على الذاكرة بشكل أساسي، بتأثر على استخدام الفرد للغة، بيبتدي ينسى كلمات كتير، اللغة بتاعته ما بتبقاش هي اللغة المعتادة عليها منه، طريقة تفكيره والتسلسل المنطقي للتفكير بيتأثر جدا. كمان بنشوف ناس النافيجيشن بتاعها بيبوظ، او فكره التنقل من مكان لمكان، لانه بيبتدي يبقى فيه فقدان للاماكن وللاسماء وللحاجات زي ما هنشوف بعد شويه. كمان في تغير تام في السلوك الخاص بالمريض ده، زائد شخصيته بتتغير، بتحس ان انت عايش مع شخص الحقيقه عمرك ما عشت معاه قبل كده. So when we talk about dementia, what's the difference between normal aging, memory deficit, or memory change, and pathological dementia?
Sure. Well, with age, I don't think there's any two ways about it. There is some decline in the brain's ability to maintain normal cognitive function. But basically what happens is that we lose memories, although we can still retrieve old memories.
Right.
Some language, finding and construction is sometimes affected. But in normal aging, pretty much the main loss is really the ability to remember and recall.
Right.
Planning, of course, and there is change in reaction time. You know, people do slow down.
Okay.
You know,
I mean, that's why the rest of the family has to adapt to this too.
That's correct. You know, it's just like the tennis stars. You know, by the time they're unless they're Roger Federer at age 37, most of them can't go past 30.
Right. Right. So that's the normal, typical changes in normal aging dementia that happens.
Correct.
What's the difference, or what are the warning signs or the atypical changes that can happen and can give us an early alarm that there is a problem?
Well, that's a really great question because, you know, I mean, you know, everybody forgets a few things. And, you know, when is that, you know, really impacting aging and an early prelude to Alzheimer's disease? Normally you can retrieve the things that you can't remember initially. And so it's when you can't remember anything about a particular event that just happened, you know, yesterday or, you know, like 2 hours ago. That's when it becomes alarming.
Okay. Change in behavior as well could be like an alarming sign for it?
Well, change in behavior, but change in behavior is in the typical form of aging and Alzheimer's is really, you know, not the main thing. I mean, there will be some change in behavior because of physical ability and, you know, sort of interest levels.
Right. الحقيقة كان السؤال الثاني ليا لدكتور كوتمان عن، والحقيقة السؤال ده عفوا أول ما أعلنا على صفحتنا الرئيسية على الفيسبوك إن إحنا هنتكلم على مشاكل الذاكرة والديمنشيا والألزهايمر، كتير قوي الأسئلة اللي جات لي قبل ما نبتدي الحلقة. بلاقي ناس عندهم 35 و40 سنة ويقولوا لي أنا ابتديت أنسى، وكتير قوي من الأسئلة جات عن مشكلة إن أنا بنسى، فقلت لازم نحط سؤال عن فكرة إيه الفرق بين النسيان العادي اللي بيحصل وفكرة الديمنشيا اللي بتحصل بشكل عام. فالنسيان العادي قال لي إن إحنا ممكن ننسى حاجة يعني every once in a while، كل مثلا فين وفين نبتدي ننسى حاجة، نبتدي نفتكر ما نحطناش الحاجة دي موجودة فين، نبتدي ننسى بشكل عام حاجات كنا بنعملها في يومنا بس مش بتأثر على حياتنا ومش مستمرة ومش بشكل مستمر. الحاجات الحقيقة اللي بتحس انه بدأ انه يحصل علامة خطر معينة هي انه الأعراض دي تستمر لفترة أكتر من 6 شهور. بنبتدي زي ما أنا قلت بيحصل لنا مشاكل في الذاكرة، وقال لي مثال كويس جدا انه نبقى متكلمين في حاجة وبعدها بساعتين تبتدي تنساها وما تعرفهاش. الحاجة التانية اللي وراها انه بيحصل في كمان الإدراك والتصرف نفسه، ما بتبقاش مركز قوي في اللي بيتقال. حاجة تانية ان انت ما بتقدرش تعمل محادثة على بعضها نتيجة ان انت بتنسى، حتى بتنسى الكلمات اللي انت عايز تستخدمها، وده بيحصل بشكل متكرر لمدة اكتر من 6 شهور. بتبقى دي علامات زي ما بنقول خطر او علامات تنبيه من بدري جدا انه ده هيحصل. الحقيقة دلوقتي هنحاول نطلع فاصل ونوري حضراتكم الانترفيو اللي عملناه مع آن جراي، وآن جراي هي الاكزيكتيف دايركتور بتاع الألزهايمر اسوسيشن في اورنج كاونتي، وهي بتتكلم على المنظمة دي وايت كوت او برنامج وايت كوت كان بيسبورت كل الايفنتس اللي هم بيعملوها. هي هتتكلم معانا عن النشاطات اللي بتحصل، والحقيقة انا بشجع كل الناس المقيمين في ساوثرن كاليفورنيا ان هم يشاركوا في الأنشطة اللي المنظمة دي بتعملها. تعالوا نشوف الانترفيو اللي عملناه مع آن جراي وبعدين نرجع لحضراتكم.
Today, White Coat has the pleasure to have the Executive Director of Alzheimer Association of Orange County Chapter, Ann Gray. Hi, Ann, and welcome to White Coat.
Thank you so much for having me.
And today we want to tell people a little bit more about Alzheimer's disease, your association activities, and educate them how to support your association. So first, I would like to start with what's the Alzheimer's disease, if you can tell us about symptoms, signs.
Yes, Alzheimer's disease is the most common form of dementia, and it's a degenerative brain disease where the brain ultimately wastes away and robs people of first their memories and then their ability for their body to perform its bodily functions. And people don't realize that Alzheimer's is a fatal disease and it's not a normal part of aging.
Can you talk to us a little bit about the association and its mission, its vision?
Our vision is a world without Alzheimer's. The Alzheimer's crisis worldwide is growing exponentially from other diseases, and so we are very focused on not only the research to cure Alzheimer's disease, but what we can do for people until we have a way to prevent, treat, and cure Alzheimer's disease. So we fund research worldwide. We have about $382 million that we've already invested in Alzheimer's disease research. Our goal is to double that over the next 10 years. We have a very aggressive effort to increase the research funding to move things much more rapidly, because there are some potential treatments in the drug development pipeline that we want to make sure have every chance for success. And there are a lot of innovative scientists that we would love to have working on Alzheimer's disease, so that we can say someday that we have a survivor of Alzheimer's disease. And we have 78 chapters throughout the country. We all do fundraising events all year long. People can get involved with us throughout the country to make a difference and honor someone that has Alzheimer's disease. We also have a care and support aspect to our mission that really is the other part of our mission. Our logo has a brain and a beaker. People in science is our mission, and we have a 24/7 helpline for people dealing with wondering if they have dementia and Alzheimer's, or if they're a caregiver and they need to give someone some assistance, and that's staffed by experts 24/7 every holiday of the year, and people can get the help that they need.
Can you tell us more about the specific educational programs and the support groups that you guys provide for your population?
Yes, we have evidence-based education programs, not only for people with early onset Alzheimer's and early stage Alzheimer's. We have classes for their caregivers. We have physician classes, and the main ones that we have that I recommend for people are, they're all really helpful, but the most important one, I think that it's impactful for everyone in the family, is communication skills. And our communications class is very helpful to people. So we always encourage people to not have behaviors that will agitate their loved one with Alzheimer's or dementia. And then we also have a Savvy Caregivers class. We have Know the Basics of Alzheimer's disease, which is a 3-series class, which is very important for the person with the disease and their caregiver to attend, so they know what to expect down the road.
I have one more question left. Can anyone volunteer, or is there volunteer opportunities with the Alzheimer's Association?
Our volunteers are very important to us at the Alzheimer's Association. It's how we reach more people. The people who are interested in volunteering can do a variety of things. We obviously need lots of help during walk day to make sure people have a wonderful experience, and you can visit the same website for volunteer information. We also like people who like to be out in the community, sharing the resources, informing people about our helpline, working at health fairs for us, doing internal company lunch and learn, so their employees can learn ways to love their brain and know the 10 signs of Alzheimer's disease. So we train volunteers to go out in the community and deliver that information so that people can be armed with ways to help protect their brain, and also to help recognize signs in loved ones that may be emerging, and also educate companies about the burden of caregiving on their employees. So we try to advocate in the community through our volunteers as much as we can. Thank you, everyone, for your interest in the Walk to End Alzheimer's, and I just really want to encourage anyone out there viewing who has any concerns about Alzheimer's disease to please reach out to our website. You can find a wealth of information. We have on-demand classes, we have information about how to reach our helpline, and we have information, again, on all the ways that you can get involved to help put an end to Alzheimer's disease. Our website, again, is alz.org.
زي ما شفتوا حضراتكم ده كان الانترفيو مع ان جراي الاكزيكتيف دايركتور بتاع الزهايمر اسوسيشن اورنج كاونتي شابتر. هي ببساطة شديدة اتكلمت عن كل النشاطات المنظمة اللي موجودة دي. قالت ان هم عندهم اكتر من 78 برانش على مستوى الولايات المتحدة كلها. قالت ان هم مش بس بيعملوا فاند ريزنج عشان المسيرات والحاجات دي، ولكن كمان هم بيعملوا فاند ريزنج عشان الابحاث العلمية الموجهة للألزهايمر. فالحقيقه يا ريت كل اللي موجود هنا يسبورت الواكس بتاعتهم، يسبورت النشاطات بتاعتهم، لانه شيء رائع ان احنا نبقى جزء من ده. Back to our speech about dementia and Alzheimer. What are the reversibility of dementia? Is there any other causes that we can deal with to prevent dementia?
Yeah, sometimes there are other areas and conditions that can disguise themselves as dementia or almost seem like Alzheimer's disease. And surprisingly, severe depression can actually really look like Alzheimer's disease. And sometimes in our clinic, we have had people that are really cognitively impaired, and on investigation, we find out that they're massively depressed, and so that's reversible. Some medication effects, can affect your cognitive skills and memory. Excess alcohol use, the classic hangover or, sort of too much use of alcohol. Thyroid problems, low B12, right. Various, nutrient effects, and poor diet. I mean, definitely, it's alarming, some of the diet, these days in terms of massive carbohydrates and no nutrition.
Right.
And that's actually can accumulate. And then certain infections, of course, can also, but most infections don't affect the brain.
Okay.
The flu does a little bit, but and then even a flu for, in the severe stages and early on can cause you a certain type of cognitive loss and a little bit of memory problems.
سؤالي دكتور كوتمان عن ايه هي الاسباب التانية اللي بتأثر على اللي احيانا بتأثر على تعمل مشاكل في الذاكرة ولكن نقدر نمنعها عن طريق بعض العلاج. قال لي الحقيقة انه واحدة من اهم الحاجات دي هي نقص فيتامينات، وبالذات نقص فيتامين بي 12 او بي 12 زي ما بنسميه. والحقيقة انه نقص الفيتامين بي 12 بيسبب مشاكل كتيرة في الذاكرة. ولحسن الحظ انه كان زمان لازم ناخد الفيتامين بي 12 او بي 12 ده حقن، ولكن دلوقتي الموضوع اتغير خالص وبقى في نقط بتتاخد تحت اللسان بتغير الموضوع ده. كمان حاجه من الحاجات المهمه جدا اللي لازم نعملها تشيك لما بنحس انه في مشاكل في الذاكره هي الغده الدرقيه. والحقيقه الغده الدرقيه مشاكلها قد تؤدي لمشاكل في الذاكره ان حصل ده، فمهم جدا ان احنا نستبعد الحاجات دي. الحاجه الثالثه اللي احيانا بتؤدي لمشاكل في الذاكره ونقدر نتجنبها هي بعض الادويه، وتحديدا المنومات زي ما ناقشنا قبل كده. كل الكلاسز بتاع البنزودايازيبين نقدر نتجنبه تماما لانه بيعمل مشاكل في الذاكره على اللونج ران. من الحاجات المهمه كمان اللي دكتور كوتمان اتكلم عليها، اتكلم على التغذيه السيئه والسمنه المفرطه زياده عن اللزوم بتاثر على قدره الاوعيه الدمويه عندنا، لانه بيسكلي الاوعيه الدمويه اللي بتوصل الدم للمخ بتتقفل نتيجه السمنه المفرطه والاكل السيء. كمان بعض الامراض زي ارتفاع ضغط الدم بيعمل مشكله كبيره جدا. وزي ما احنا ناقشنا في السؤال اللي قبل ده على طول، انه مش كل نسيان بيعتبر مرضي، ولكن لازم نستبعد الاسباب العضويه اللي احنا اتكلمنا فيها دلوقتي قبل ما نروح لفكره انه فعلا انا عندي مشكله في الذاكره او عندي مشكله في وظائف المخ. لازم زي ما انا قلت نستبعد فيتامين بي 12، لازم نستبعد مشاكل الغده الدرقيه، الادويه قد تؤدي لده احيانا، السمنه المفرطه، ارتفاع ضغط الدم، احيانا الستريس او الضغط اللي موجود في حوالينا بيعمل المشاكل دي كمان. So Dr. Cottman, what are the other pathological dementias, other kind of dementias that we have?
One other common one is actually vascular dementia, and it's the second most common after Alzheimer's disease, and it's the result of damage to the brain's plumbing, in the arteries and veins and capillaries that, are responsible for bringing nutrition and oxygen to it. It's probably about 25% or so of all dementias, and it often coexists with Alzheimer's disease.
Right.
That's one of the confusing things and one of the areas that is becoming increasingly recognized.
Is there any other factors participating or exacerbating the vascular dementia sometimes?
Well, high blood pressure, you know, is definitely a risk. It's like only so much you can put pressure on the pipes,
right,
and they blow, you know, even if they're galvanized or PVC. Diabetes is another, you know, risk factor for vascular dementia. High cholesterol plugs the arteries and follows up to plumbing and heart disease, you know, inadequate perfusion of the brain. And it releases
strokes sometimes, myocardial infarctions can.
And then on infarctions, you know, small infarcts, and they can become, you know, little things that just punctuate and take away little portions of the brain. And they can be sometimes perceived by a rapid change in your cognitive skills, but oftentimes, you know, the brain's resilience and plasticity will compensate, and, you know, the individual gains back a lot of what they've lost, so that's really encouraging.
What's the specific characteristics for vascular dementia make it stand out from other kind of dementias?
Well, really, you know, you get more confusion, and you know, it's really very similar, actually, to Alzheimer's disease. You know, you do get some motor problems, but, you know, oftentimes they're minor. You know, coordination problems. You know, it's oftentimes you get the two conditions, Alzheimer's disease and vascular dementia, together. And so it's hard to sort out which is which.
اوكي. الحقيقه اول نوع من مشاكل الذاكره او اضطرابات الذاكره اللي هنناقشه النهارده بنسميها اضطرابات او التدهور وظائف المخ الوعائي، بسبب وسميناه الوعائي لانه في مشاكل في الاوعيه الدمويه اللي بتبقى موجوده في جسمنا، ودي ليها مسببات كتير جدا. اشهرها على الاطلاق هو ارتفاع ضغط الدم ومرض السكر طبعا بيعمل مشاكل دي، الكوليسترول العادي، مشاكل في القلب وبالذات الناس اللي بيجي لها انفاركشنز وبيجي لها مشاكل في قلبها كتير، ده كله بيأثر على الأوعية الدموية اللي موجودة في الجسم، وبالتالي بيأثر على الإمداد الدموي اللي رايح للمخ، وبيأثر على جزء كبير من الذاكرة. سألته إذا في اختلافات موجودة في تدهور وظائف المخ العقلية الوعائية اللي هو نتيجة مشاكل الأوعية الدموية والأنواع التانية من مشاكل الذاكرة أو مشاكل اضطراب الوظائف العقلية. قال لي مفيش فرق كبير، تقريبا نفس الصورة، ولكن عادة هي بتحصل بعد مثلا جلطات دماغية بتبقى موجودة، زي ما أنا قلت بعد مشاكل بتحصل في القلب أو نتيجة ضغط عالي مستمر. وزي ما انا قلت الجزء الكويس الوحيد في الموضوع ده ان احنا نقدر نمنعها عن طريق ان احنا دايما نتحكم في يبقى ضغطنا كويس، دايما نتحكم في نسبة الكوليسترول في جسمنا. الناس اللي عندهم مرض السكر دايما يخلوه اندر كنترول عشان ما يأثرش على الوظائف التانية وبالذات الوظائف المخية. What other kind of dementias that we have?
Well, another one is frontal temporal dementia, often just abbreviated FTD.
Okay.
And it's a group of diseases characterized by loss of cells, neurons in the frontal cortex, the very front of the brain, that is responsible for executive function and planning and so on. And it begins a little earlier than AD, and it occurs in you know 40 to 70, which is more common. It's associated with socially inappropriate behaviors. You know, the individual is just sometimes really acting out inappropriately.
Because their personality changes as a part of their
Their personality will change. They lose mental flexibility. There's a decline often in personal hygiene because the person doesn't have the self-awareness. There's language problems, some coordination of movement disorders. One of the very strange effects is that they have generally a lot of these individuals with frontal temporal dementia have an increased craving for sweets.
Right.
And, you know, I know when I visited one of the very famous neurologists that studies frontal temporal dementia, a guy named Bruce Miller, he could always say he has a little bucket of sweets on the hallway going down to the exam room, and he said he can tell if they stop off and they get a little snack on the way there.
So completely personality changes and different cravings.
It's changed. It changes people's personalities, for sure. And the frontal lobe is what keeps you on target.
Right.
So you lose essentially that discrete focus and target.
الحقيقة واحدة من المشاكل اللي بتعمل مشاكل في الذاكرة مرة تانية هي فكرة الفص الأمامي من المخ بيحصل فيه مشكلة. وقال إنه النوع ده من المشاكل اللي بتأثر على الذاكرة بيأثر كمان على الشخصية. الشخصية بتختلف تماما، معالم الشخصية اللي أنت عارفها بتختلف. وذكر إنه يعني حد من الناس اللي هو عارفهم برضو من ليهم ريسيرش في المجال ده بيتكلم في الفكرة دي، وقال إنه بدأ ياكل حلويات أكتر من اللزوم، يعني شخصيته اختلفت تماما. What other kind of dementias we're talking about today?
Well, one of the other ones that is kind of confusing is what's called Lewy body dementia, which is essentially pathologically characterized by these big innate balls that can develop in neurons and causes the neurons to dysfunction, and it's often has some features of both Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's disease, and it affects, about 1% of the people over 65, so it's not nearly as common.
And very much affect the sleep, I think, as well.
And it affects sleep, a lot of the core functions, some fluctuating attention. You get new motor, Parkinson-like motor problems. Sleep areas, REM sleep is, and sometimes sleepwalking, which is, of course, dangerous and terribly annoying. And then, sensitivity to certain drugs, too.
Right.
So, but a lot of this can be treated, at least, with antipsychotics.
What about the dementia for Parkinson? You mentioned Parkinson has some kind of dementia as well. So what's the characteristic of dementia for Parkinson's disease?
Well, Parkinson's has, the characteristics of slowed reaction time, impulse control. Generally, early on in Parkinson's disease, you don't see the cognitive problems. They develop later on.
Comes later.
And variable, and at least we see in patients sometimes, Parkinsonian things will be prevalent for years, and then the cognitive thing in the latter stages, start to appear, and so you get a dementia.
يبقى اتكلمنا مع حضراتكم عن 4-5 أنواع هي بتبقى مسببات تدهور الوظائف العقلية للمخ، ومنها تحديدا الذاكرة. اتكلمنا عن المشاكل الوعية اللي بتحصل في الأوعية الدموية وبتأثر على ده. اتكلمنا كمان عن الفص الأمامي من المخ لما بيحصل فيه مشاكل بيأثر على ده برضو. اتكلمنا كمان قال إنه في ارتباط وثيق جدا بين مشاكل الذاكرة والتدهور اللي بيحصل في الوظائف العقلية للمخ مع الباركنسون ديزيز أو المعروف بالشلل الرعاش. وقال انه الاثنين بيبقوا احيانا مرتبطين ببعض جدا، ولما الباركنسون بيبقى شويه تحت الكنترول يعني بتتحسن فكره وظائف المخ. دي كانت الاسباب الاقل شويه في الاهميه، قلنا نناقشها في الاول قبل ما نتكلم على السبب الرئيسي لمشاكل تدهور الوظائف المخ والذاكره اللي هو الالزهايمر ديزيز. تحديدا الالزهايمر ديزيز بيمثل حوالي 60% من المشاكل دي. كل اللي اتناقشنا فيه قبل كده 40%، وزي ما قلنا لحضراتكم من حسن الحظ ان احنا ممكن يتم منعه لو مشينا بطريقه استخدمنا حياه صحيه كويسه. هنبتدي دلوقتي نتكلم على اللي احنا الموضوع الرئيسي اللي هو الالزهايمر ديزيز. So Alzheimer represent about 60% of dementia problems. So what is Alzheimer disease, and who's usually getting affected by Alzheimer disease?
Alzheimer's disease is, this main form of dementia, and it's the most common form that impairs mental function and ultimately activities of daily living. It's progressive and irreversible, unfortunately, at least according to current medical knowledge. Now, we're optimistic that we can actually slow it down, and I think in some ways we are slowing it down. We can talk about that later. But memory loss is one of the earliest symptoms, along with gradual decline of other intellectual and thinking activity. Speed of processing is one of the frustrating things that people often have. You know, they're just slower.
Right.
And that's just not normal aging. It's you know, due to Alzheimer's disease.
And I said in my intro that a lot of influential characters in the world get Alzheimer's disease, like Ronald Reagan, Margaret Thatcher, the Prime Minister of England.
There's no one.
Oh yeah, exactly. الحقيقة أنا سألته إيه هو تعريف فكرة الألزهايمر لما بنتكلم على الألزهايمر ديزيز. قال لي الألزهايمر ديزيز هو مرض بيصيب المخ، بيأثر على معظم الوظائف الحيوية في المخ كمان، زي ما احنا قلنا مش بس الذاكرة، بيأثر على السلوك، بيأثر على طريقة تصرف الإنسان نفسه. قال لي إن هو يعني بيزداد سوءا بمرور المرض، كل ما بيزيد فترة المرض كل ما الدنيا بتزداد سوءا أو بيزيد سوءا تدريجيا. لحد دلوقتي كل اللي احنا قادرين نعمله عن طريق الأدوية إن احنا بنقلل السوء اللي بيحصل along الكورس بتاع المرض نفسه. زي ما احنا قلنا إنه أصاب ناس كتير جدا مشهورين زي رونالد ريغان ومارغريت تاتشر رئيسة وزراء بريطانيا. والحقيقة رونالد ريغان كان الرئيس ال40 ومات وهو مش عارف إن هو رئيس أمريكا، وكان يعني بيمشي يستغرب جدا في الشارع الناس دي بتسلم عليا ليه والحاجات دي. ففعلا زي ما دكتور كوتمان قال ما بيسيبش أي حد، ممكن يجي لأي حد. So Dr. Cottman, what are the statistics and the epidemiology of Alzheimer's disease when we talk about that?
Well, the biggest risk factor for Alzheimer's disease is just age.
Okay.
You know, that's getting old. And,
we can control that, of course.
We can't do anything about that. But, you know, I guess it's progressive, and, you know, it attacks really the memory centers, particularly a structure called the hippocampus. And so the the cortex projecting into the memory center, you know, starts to degenerate. And so that's kind of what causes, you know, the area. It's such that not too many people 65 or younger are going to get Alzheimer's disease unless it's genetic.
Okay.
And then with age, you know, around 70, it's about 5 to 10%. Around 80, it goes up more to 20 to 30. And then it can even increase further to basically 30 to 40% of individuals in those latter age ranges. But what's interesting about it is that after about 90, the risk goes down, actually.
Right.
So, you know, if you can make it
to 90, you'll be safer.
And we've seen numerous examples, like you were saying, of individuals that are really extremely old and basically doing. I have a good friend that has studied with me and is a faculty member at the Medical Research Council in London, and he's 90 years old, and he still goes to the lab and works
and lectures,
and he reads and he writes papers. I mean,
God bless him.
Yeah, no joke. And I mean, he's really the example, or at least one of them.
الحقيقة لما سألته عن الإحصائيات الموجودة عن مرض الألزهايمر قال لي تقريبا انه في 35 مليون واحد في العالم مصاب بالمرض ده. زي ما انا قلت على 2050 هيبقى في 19 مليون واحد مصاب بس في الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية. زي ما انا قلت في المقدمة في بلد زي انجلترا هو أكبر تقريبا سبب للوفاة ما بين السيدات وثالث أكبر سبب للوفاة ما بين الرجال. قال لي تقريبا بيحصل بعد سن ال 65، ما بيحصلش قبل سن ال 65 إلا إذا كان جاي جينيتك، جاي من العيلة أو جاي وراثي بشكل عام. إنما لو حصل قبل سن ال 65 يبقى جاي بنسبة كبيرة وراثي. بعد سن ال 65 تقريبا 10%، يعني واحد من كل 10. كل ما بنزيد 10 سنين فوق بعد سن ال 65، بعد سن ال 70 أو ال 75 بيطلع ل 20%. بعد سن ال 80 بيزيد لنسبة 30-40%، يعني 4 من كل 10 بعد سن ال 80. كمان قال لي نقطة مهمة جدا وكانت مفاجأة، انه بعد سن ال 90 لو ما جالكش لحد سن ال 90 فانت بتكمل وبتبقى سيف جدا. وقال انه في حد من زملائه في انجلترا برضو بعد سن ال 90 ولسه بيروح يدي محاضرات وبيدرس في الجامعة وحياته ماشية كويس جدا. We got a question on Facebook from somebody in France saying if he can start taking some vitamins now, would it prevent the progression? He's 80 years old.
Early treatment of good nutrition and even late nutrition is definitely helpful. So, you know, but you don't want to overtake vitamins, right, because all these things have a bell-shaped curve.
Right.
But I would also like to add to the last thing is that there's about 5+ to almost 6 million people in the U.S. that have Alzheimer's disease.
Right.
And it's the 5th leading cause. In fact, some people put it as the 3rd leading cause of death, depending on how you look at the autopsy records, because you don't have at death a diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease usually. So
I mentioned in the intro, by 2050, we'll have 19 million that suffer from
that's
Alzheimer's
right,
disease.
and that's staggering amount, and that's going to break our healthcare system.
Right.
And that's why so many people and the federal government are concerned about doing something to slow this down and stop it in its tracks. It's mandatory.
للمشاهد العزيز اللي بعت لنا السؤال على الفيسبوك من فرنسا وقال انه طبيعه التغذيه، قال طبعا انه التغذيه الصحيه في اي وقت والفيتامينات بتمنع، بس مش بتمنع، بتقلل انه حدوثه، ولكن هنتكلم في جزء خاص دلوقتي بعد شويه عن الطرق التغذيه الصحيحه، الاكل اللي بيساعد ازاي نمرن مخنا، وهنتكلم على تمرينات المخ. So Dr. Cottman, usually what's the mechanism, how the Alzheimer happens, what's the changes that happen in the brain, and who usually who get Alzheimer disease?
Well, the changes that happen are progressive and probably start 10, 20 years even before you see the overt manifestations. And it starts, you know, in that area of the cortex that projects to the hippocampus, and then progresses. And there's actually, it marches through the brain like an infection. And I was in the class I've been teaching, just showed how it propagates, and it starts, and the molecules that are pathological act like a seeding function and seed additional pathology, and it's passed from neuron to neuron to neuron.
Right.
So the propagation is one of the big issues. People that you know, have normal, there are some genes that are protective. You know, like one of the apolipoprotein E's, E2 is protective, some of the others. And, you know, if it runs in a family, you have an earlier chance of getting it. But that's usually genetic if it runs in the family and shows up prior to 50, 60.
It can happen in the 40s and late 30s if it's genetic?
If there's a gene risk factor, okay. Yes. And we're now really doing very well in defining the genes that are responsible for early onset, and they're risk factor genes. They're not, some of the genes that you can get mean that you will get the disease. In Alzheimer's disease, there's one mutation that will give you Alzheimer's disease, but that's very early onset, and it runs in families and so on. The risk factor genes there are about 11 of the big ones that have been identified, and they just give you an increased susceptibility.
Okay. So if we use the slides, what changes that happen in the brain, structural changes?
Well, the brain shows loss of volume, frankly, as you progress. Mm-hmm. And it's basically the memory center that's outlined will shrink. Right. And you can see how there's some structures lost, the language structures degenerate, and there's a general shrinking of the cortex. I mean, it actually weighs less. Right. There's so much loss, and the white matter will decrease. You know, the part that connects the neurons between the areas of the brain. So the highways are disappearing. You can imagine what happens if the highways are dysfunctional. Right. You can't function normally.
Everything will get slower and slower. And the beta amyloid too, the slide of beta amyloid, it accumulates.
Well, beta amyloid, there are two hallmarks of Alzheimer's disease pathologically, called plaques and tangles. And the plaque is made up of beta amyloid. And this accumulates and causes all kinds of dysfunction. The soluble forms inhibit synaptic function, and particularly plasticity in the learning mechanisms at a synapse. So this beta amyloid is one of the targets of therapeutics, and there's actually great strides being made to essentially treat people with immunization to eliminate beta amyloid from the brain. And that's sort of ongoing clinical area that's a hot topic in the clinical research arena.
Right. الحقيقه سؤالي ليك كان ايه هو اللي بيحصل تحديدا لما بيبتدي مرض الالزهايمر؟ ايه التغيرات اللي بتحصل في المخ؟ قال لي انه زي ما حضراتكم شفتوا السلايد بتاع البرين كروس سيكشنز، يا ريت نطلعها دلوقتي على الشاشه. بيحصل انه المنطقه زي ما احنا حضراتكم شايفين، المنطقه بتاع اللانجوج، اللغه او استخدام الكلمات وان انت تفتكر الكلمات، وفي المنطقه المربعه اللي هي الميموري بتاع الذاكره. زي ما احنا شايفين على الشمال ده الوضع الطبيعي، وشايفين قد ايه هي المنطقه دي كبيره. لما بنروح على اليمين او البرين اللي عنده او المخ اللي عنده الزهايمر ديزيز، المناطق دي زي ما شايفين حضراتكم بتقل تماما في المستطيلات اللي احنا شايفينها. المستطيل اللي تحت الخاص بالذاكره او الميموري، المستطيل اللي فوق اللي خاص باللانجوج او طريقه استخدام اللغه، او ان هو يلاقي صعوبه في انه يلاقي الكلمات، وبتلاقي صعب جدا ان هو يبقى عنده مناقشه او محادثه معاك. السلايد اللي وراها الحقيقه نوع من انواع البروتين بنسميه البيتا اميلويد، ده بيترسب على الخلايا نفسها، وبيسد زي ما دكتور كوتمان بالظبط قال، كأنك بتسد الطرق السريعة اللي موجودة في بلد معينة، وبالتالي كله بيبتدي يستخدم الشارع والدنيا تبقى slower and slower. ودي شكل مجموعة البروتينات اللي بتترسب في المخ. الحقيقة نقطة كمان مهمة جدا نعرفها، انه قال انه لحد دلوقتي الجينات بدأوا يكتشفوا الجينات المسؤولة عن ده، وهم ناجحين جدا في ده، وهو واحد من اكتر الناس اللي شغالة على الابحاث دي. وقال انه قريب جدا احتمال يبقى في علاج، ودي من الحاجات الاخبار الكويسة اللي احنا النهاردة شفناها من دكتور كوتمان. So Dr. Cottman, what are the symptoms of Alzheimer disease and how the deterioration starts usually in the brain?
Well, learning or memory is the first big target, of course, as we talked about, like especially for facts and lists, so it's called episodic memory. And it's basically attacked so that, you can't remember the grocery list and you have to look at your notes. Now, that doesn't mean that's, if you can't look at your notes, and you can't remember, it's not necessarily Alzheimer's disease. It has to be more than one domain.
Okay.
But language problems then develop, word finding difficulty, sentence construction, visual processing, complex integration, inability to form very highly skilled motor skills. It's difficult to perform things that you used to know that are even, except for the innate skills. Those usually stay.
Okay.
The ones that are sort of programmed.
الحقيقة أنا سألت دكتور كوتمان على أعراض مرض الألزهايمر وإزاي بتبتدي تحصل. قال لي رقم واحد بيحصل مشاكل في اللغة، إن أنت بتلاقي صعوبة جدا في إن أنت تجد الكلمات. أحيانا بيحصل وتحديدا في المراحل المتأخرة شوية إنه بيبتدي يحصل هلاوس سمعية وبصرية، يبتدي يشوف حاجات هو الوحيد اللي شايفها. بيفقد المهارات، الشخص بيفقد المهارات اللي كان متعود عليها زي السواقة. في ناس بنلاقيها بتنسى السواقة، الستات اللي بتخيط بنلاقيها ازاي بتنسى كانت بتخيط أحيانا. على طول بيحصل نوع من الارتباك، بيبقى مرتبك. على فكرة واحدة من العلامات المهمة جدا 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 انه مريض الألزهايمر بيبقى شاكك في كل اللي حواليه، وبالذات اللي هو واخد على وشوشهم، وممكن يتكلم مع الناس الغريبة. احيانا بيبقى في سلوك غير منطقي. بنشوف ناس كبيرة في السن لما بنبتدي نروح نزورها احيانا بيبقى محرج لكل اللي حواليهم انه بيحكوا قصص، وانه الناس اللي حواليها ما بتهتمش بيهم، وانه بيعذبوا، وده كله طبعا بيبقى قصص ما حصلتش. كمان بيبقى مش مدرك قوي لفكرة الوقت والمكان. هنكمل مع حضراتكم الأعراض، ولكن معانا مكالمة. We have a phone call from Washington. Somebody has a question for you. معانا طلعت. اتفضل.
Hi, صباح الخير.
صباح الخير.
I have a question about something that was never admitted, and it's really, I have a very strong feeling this is one of the reasons also, at least in my belief,
Okay.
that all electronics surroundings, especially cell phones, it really interferes with the micro signals in the brain, and how true that is, or this is just my belief, or that's effective, or something is
You
not
mean
admitted,
signal transduction from a cell?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And how much does that impact the brain functions because of the signals that goes back and forth between the senses in the brain?
Okay.
And I'm thinking that, you know, if something like that was proven, it will be a heck of a whole world class action lawsuits against phone companies and things.
Of course, I will take it to a different level, actually.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, this is highly debated and has been around as an argument for quite a number of years. You know, of course, the brain uses electrical activity, and cell phones use electrical activity. But generally, the distance that this can occur is, you know, you'd have to have the cell phone right on your neurons.
Okay.
And that's not going to happen. So I think
they're
the
still
risk
debating.
is pretty low. Cumulative, you know, of course, you know, you can overload the brain with too many signals, and you don't want to hold the cell phone up to your ear, you know, and have multiple cell phones because it's putting the brain to too much work, but it'll shut down too. The brain has so many protection mechanisms to keep itself healthy. You know, neurons have to live for 100 years. When you think about it, what do we have that keeps working 100 years without external repair?
Right.
Virtually nothing, but the neuron is a modern miracle that essentially self-heals.
Right.
And keeps going.
سؤال استاذ طلعت، انا بشكر حضرتك جدا. طبعا كان بيتكلم على الالكترونيك ديفايسز، السيل فونز، الايبادز، التابلتس اللي موجوده في الحياه دلوقتي، وازاي انه ممكن يبقى ليها دور في انه يحصل مشاكل في الذاكره. دكتور كوتمان رد قال انه لسه الموضوع فيه ديبيتس كتيره على الموضوع ده، وقال انه بيشك انه ده يكون ليه دور كبير الا اذا كان انت حاطط تقريبا التليفون فوق المخك او فوق النيرف نفسه عشان يتاثر، وقال انه حتى التاثر ما بيبقاش كبير ولكن ممكن يبقى تاثير تراكمي. هرجع تاني لفكره الاعراض اللي موجوده. زي ما احنا قلنا انه بيبقى فيه نسيان كتيره جدا، عدم استخدام اللغه بشكل كويس جدا، فكره عدم ادراك المكان، نسيان الاشياء بيحطها فين احيانا، عدم القدره الصحيحه على التعامل مع الفلوس، ودي نقطه مهمه جدا. لابد من انه الشخص اللي احنا حاسين انه في عيلتنا ابتدى يبقى عنده مشاكل في الذاكره والزهايمر تحديدا، انه يراقب ماليا بشكل جيد جدا. دايما بيبقى مرتبك، مفيش قدره على التركيز في المكان والزمان بشكل عام، بيبقى شكاك جدا في كل اللي حواليه. زي ما احنا بنقول احيانا بيبقى فيه سلوك محرج جدا ممكن يتم نتيجه مشاكل في الفص الامامي من المخ. واهم ده حاجه من ده كله انه الصحه، النظافه بشكل عام، وده كله بيتاثر جدا. وهنتكلم في المراحل الصعبه من الالزهايمر. هنطلع دلوقتي فاصل مع حضراتكم نوريكم ازاي وايت كوت كان جزء من الوالك to end Alzheimer من الالزهايمر اسوسيشن اورنج كاونتي شابتر. ازاي كان وايت كوت كان جزء من ده، وعملنا لقاءات مع ناس عشان نوري حضراتكم انه مش بس بيأثر على الشخص المريض نفسه ولكن بيأثر على حياة اللي حواليه. الحقيقة كانت مشاعر رائعة جدا، ناس مشيت او عملت المسيرة دي عشان تكرم ناس من العيلة بتاعتها. We'll have a quick break to watch some videos from the walk to end Alzheimer disease and then we'll be back.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and Alzheimer! Take a look at the symbolic flowers that surround you. These flowers represent the promises we have come together to fulfill. a colorful display of our intent to honor, remember, because together we can end Alzheimer's disease. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, this is Tamer Meshel, the host of White Coat from Orange County Great Park in Irvine. We're walking today to end Alzheimer disease, and I have my friends here, star worker. How, like a disease like Alzheimer, can not just affect the patient, but the whole lifestyle for the whole entire family?
Well, it's very difficult. They become children again. You need to, they're dependent on you. They no longer realize what they need to do on a daily basis. So you have to remind them to eat. You have to, I mean, their short-term memory is pretty much lost. So you have to kind of be with them 24/7 at this point.
I do agree. It's very difficult to leave them unattended because you never know from one minute to the next what they will be doing. They just can get up and go or start talking about something that happened 100 years ago for us, you know, and repeating the same over and over. So.
And if you want to pass a message to our viewers, what would you tell them about the event, about the donation, the Alzheimer organization?
I mean, I'm hoping that they do enough research where they can slow this illness down or have a cure for it, because it really does affect everybody around them.
They need to come and donate and be a part of this, because it's going to eventually affect them at one point in their life with a family member, friend, co-worker. It's just important to understand it all the way around.
Walking to honor my grandfather, who's actually on the back of our shirts. Well, we were younger. I remember I was about 8 when he was diagnosed, I believe, and he had Alzheimer's for 10 years before he passed away. And so just memories of a disease that kind of deteriorated him. And so kind of today serves as a day to celebrate him and to talk about him and talk about memories. And it's a great day for us to come together as a family and celebrate that, but at the same time raising awareness for this cause. And it's so great to see other people who have gone through something similar, because you know it's easy to, I don't want to say forget, but you push these bad things aside. But it's a great day to come together and realize that it's a huge problem and it definitely needs attention and money and research. And so it's we participate in every year in Orange County.
Would you describe the atmosphere here to our viewers, to put them in the picture with us?
I feel like it's a good atmosphere. Everybody's, you know, coming together, or like people that have that feel the same things. It's hard when you talk to somebody about it that hasn't had a family member towards Alzheimer's. So, but you see people that have, you know, the same effect or had a family in Alzheimer's, they really, you know, you feel that connection towards them and know what they feel towards what you felt for that family member.
Perfect. Do you have an input?
Yeah, I mean, it's great just seeing the community and seeing the numbers come together. That's the most impactful.
Right. And then if you guys want to pass a message to the viewers, what would your message be?
The message would be, you know, Alzheimer's, you know, changes the person, but not the person inside. You know, they're still there with you always. You know, you remember the good times, but it's just Alzheimer's is, you know, the message is, you know, try to fight for some, you know, a cure for it. So, you know, because the family member you had, you know, it'll change them, but, you know, you always, you know, remember them for what they were.
And like a message for the community to like be more active in those events.
Yeah, I would say just become educated and become aware. It's a huge problem, and I don't think you realize it until you're really in it, and that's unfortunate. You kind of want to know about these things even if it doesn't affect you personally.
And our main message today to everybody, don't give up, right? That would be our main message today, don't give up, right? حقيقة كان جو رائع جدا جدا جدا. شفنا مريضة الألزهايمر اللي جاية مع عيلتها والناس اللي ماشية في المسيرة دي عشان تكرم جدها، والحقيقة المسج الرائعة اللي ادوها في الآخر فكرة إنه دايما لما مريض في العيلة بتاعتنا بيتأثر بالمرض ده ما ننساش دايما الذكريات الحلوة اللي كانت معاه، إنه بلاش ناخد كل حاجة بيرسونال، حتى لو كان في سلوك مش كويس نفتكر دايما الأيام الحلوة اللي كانت مع الشخص دي. والمسج الأهم إنه لا للاستسلام لهذا المرض، وإن شاء الله بمجهودات ناس زي دكتور كوتمان، زي ما أنا قلت ليا الشرف إن أنا قاعد قدامه 700 بحث علمي في المجال ده، ودلوقتي هم شغالين على علاج جديد، وإن شاء الله ربنا يوفقهم ونلاقي علاج جديد للألزهايمر. معانا مكالمة من جوزيف نيويورك. We have a phone call from New York. Joseph.
Good afternoon, Dr. Tamer. I have, my age is 71 years old.
Okay.
I'm a diabetic. I have a very big problem to take my medication.
Okay.
Because sometimes I take insulin. Sometimes I forgot to take the medication one time or two times. It is very dangerous to take the insulin or two types of insulin in the same time. And this happened because I forgot this.
Yes.
I have
Joseph,
no
I have
idea.
a question for you. Do you have somebody live with you, like wife?
Yeah, my wife was me. She helped me two times.
Okay. أنا هجاوب على حضرتك. إحنا كنا هنتكلم على النقطة دي لأنه نقطة معروفة جدا. He almost talks about the polypharmacy syndrome that happens with Alzheimer patients. So what's your recommendation for that?
People have to be careful about how much medication they take, and then not taking high doses of because they go to another doctor and the other doctor gives them the same generic medication, and then they're taking a double dose, and pretty soon they become incapacitated.
So how is the family rule can help in that issue?
The family has to help manage the medications and place them in little bins, for example, with these pill dispensers, so that the individual can know. And if there's a person around, it helps to really give it to them, because that's too much for them to keep
and give
track
them
of.
only one day dose, better than give them access to all. That helps.
Absolutely.
الحقيقة أخ جوزيف كان دي واحدة من النقط اللي كنت هتكلم عليها جدا. حاجة اسمها ظاهرة اسمها البولي فارماسي، أو إنه البيشنت أحيانا بينسى إنه أخذ الميديكيشن ويرجع ياخد نفس الميديكيشن تاني، أو يروح لاثنين دكاترة مختلفين زي ما قال دكتور كوتمان وياخد نفس الميديكيشن بس بصيغه تانية، وهو بينسى ممكن يبقى بياخد نوعين من الميديكيشن وهم نفس الحاجه بس باسمين مختلفين. الحقيقه البولي فارماسي سيندروم دي بتحصل كتير جدا مع الناس اللي عندهم مشاكل في الذاكره، عشان كده بننصح بحاجتين مهمين جدا لو حضرتك متابعني. الحاجه الاولى انه دور الاسره هي كل حاجه في الموضوع ده، انه اولا ما نديش اكسس او ما نسيبش البيشنت او المريض عنده اكسس لكل الدواء اللي موجود في البيت، لا نحط الدواء في مكان البيشنت ملوش اكسس ليه. الحاجه الثانيه المهمه ان نديله جرعه يوم بيوم بس جنبه، نحطها له جنبه، ولو نعلم عليهم في البنز اللي هي البلاستيك بنز اللي هي البلاستيك اللي بنحط فيها الحبوب، ونديله جرعات الدواء بتاعه يوم بيوم، وما نديش لمريض الالزهايمر اكسس انه يبقى عنده لكل الميديكيشن اللي موجوده. فده دور الاسره مهم جدا، دور الكير جيفر لو ما فيش اسره انه يحطوا زي ما انا قلت الجرعه يوم بيوم، الحاجة التانية انه دايما يبقى معاه لستة وهو رايح للدكتور بكل انواع الادوية عشان الدكتور ما يدلوش دبل دوز من نفس الميديكيشن. الحقيقة سؤال رائع جدا ومهم جدا وهيساعد ناس كتير جدا في المرض ده وبالذات اللي عندهم مشاكل في الذاكرة. So back to the personality changes, Dr. Cottman, you wanted to
I would just comment that sometimes the individual's personality does change and they can become more irritable, suspicious, they will become disoriented with time and space, they become lost more frequently, etc. But these things can be managed, and sometimes the irritability, just means the person needs to walk around, and
pacing and
give them a little walk around the block, for example.
Especially at night.
and then they will sometime go on a very strange cycle in that they wake, they hardly sometimes need to sleep.
Right.
And it drives the caregivers, really into exhaustion. And so part of the thing of managing a person with Alzheimer's disease is to take care of yourself and to make sure you have some time off to basically take care of yourself. And I recommend strongly that the people undergo exercise programs to keep them tuned up and to give them a little more resilience.
For his own safety too.
That's right.
الحقيقة زي ما دكتور كوتمان قال كمان للأعراض دي انه احيانا المرضى بتوع المشاكل مع الذاكرة او الألزهايمر او الديمنشيا بشكل عام احيانا بالليل بينزلوا يتمشوا كده في الشارع، فمهم جدا ان احنا نحافظ على السيفتي بتاعتهم. زي ما انا قلت نسيان الحاجات فين مهم جدا ان احنا نتعامل معاها، ان احنا دايما نبقى مرتبين لهم حياتهم. فكرة القدرة على التعامل المالي مهم جدا جدا جدا، المراقبة المالية خصوصا لما نبتدي نلمح انه في مشاكل بدأت تحصل. كمان حاجة مهمة جدا عايزين نقولها، التغذية زي ما قال دكتور كوتمان وهنرجع لها في العلاج. كمان من النقط المهمة جدا ان احنا بنلاقي الشخص ده بيعمل حاجة اسمها preservation، يعني بيستخدم نفس العبارات بنفس الجمل. ممكن يقول لك جملة ويسألك سؤال ويرجع يسألك نفس السؤال بنفس الكلمات بعد دقيقتين، ونفس السؤال يكرره تاني. فدي مهمة زي ما أنا قلت، فقدان المهارات اللي هو متعود عليها دي مهمة جدا. النظافة الصحية أو الشخصية بتقل جدا، وده هنشوفه كجزء من العلاج ازاي نهتم بالمريض ده. أحيانا زي ما دكتور كوتمان قال إنه بيبقى المريض عدواني جدا، وأحيانا ممكن لدرجة انه يتعدى على يعتدي يعني على اللي حواليه. وده زي ما قلنا في المسج بتاع الوك انه دايما نفتكر الايام الجميلة للشخص دي، ما ناخدش اي حاجة بيرسونال، بيبتدي ينعزل تماما اجتماعيا، وده نقطة مهمة جدا. كمان فكرة عدم التحكم في التبول او التبرز اثناء ده مهم جدا ان احنا نهتم بالصحة الشخصية للبيشنت، عشان ده نقطة مهمة جدا. Now, how to diagnose Alzheimer disease? What's our tools to make sure or to diagnose for sure this patient has an Alzheimer disease?
Generally, a series of cognitive tests are given plus a brain image to see if the brain is atrophied, done by a good neurologist. And there are Alzheimer's research centers that have diagnostic capacity at different places in the U.S. We at Irvine have one, for example, and specialize in the diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease. So, it's difficult for a general practitioner that only has 2 minutes to really determine whether a person has Alzheimer's disease. Right. And so it's sometimes underdiagnosed and sometimes overdiagnosed. So you need to get a good diagnosis, especially when it comes to treating with medications. I would also like to make a couple comments on prevention, if I could, because that's one of the things that we're all concerned about. There's 7 modifiable risk factors. The number one is physical inactivity. So it's been reviewed recently of all the modifiable risk factors, and physical inactivity in the U.S.
I just have a question on the phone.
Okay.
We have a question over the phone. How bad Parkinson's disease will affect Alzheimer's disease?
There's an increased if Parkinson's disease in later stages can give rise to pretty much Alzheimer's disease, but not always, and vice versa. You sometimes get it. Now, Parkinson's disease is a very discrete degeneration of the dopamine neurons in the substantia nigra. whereas Alzheimer's disease is a more generic degeneration, starting in the cortex hippocampus and moving through the brain.
الحقيقة السؤال اللي جالنا بيقول إيه إزاي مرض الباركنسون أو الشلل الرعاش بيأثر على الزهايمر. فدكتور كوتمان قال إنه في إحصائيات كويسة جدا بتقول إنه أحيانا إنه الباركنسون بيؤدي للزهايمر أو العكس، يعني ده ممكن يسبب ده أو ده ممكن يسبب ده. فالحقيقة في علاقة وثيقة بينهم، زي ما شرحنا في أول حلقتنا إنه جزء من المشاكل اللي بتحصل في الذاكرة أو التدهور الوظائف العقلية بيحصل مع الشلل الرعاش، وشرحنا اللينك ده في أول الحلقة. كمان السؤال لدكتور كوتمان عن إزاي نشخص مرض الباركنسون، فقال لي رقم واحد إنه بنعمل MRIs أو ده كله تحاليل. كمان زي ما انا قلت انه احنا لازم نقيس الفيتامين بي 12، بنقيس كمان الفوليك اسيد عشان ده مهم جدا. كمان مهم جدا ان احنا في صور حلوه جدا موجوده قدامنا للشكل الالزهايمر لما بناخد السلايدز دي. We're talking about the slides for the neurofibrillary tangles here.
Oh yes. Yeah, that shows that the brain, the neurons become entangled with a abnormality that makes them dysfunctional. And so even though you can see them there, they really don't work. And basically the trafficking from one side part of the neuron to the other becomes completely disrupted. So you can't move materials from the cell body where things are controlled to the distal synapses and back again. And that gives rise to dysfunction.
And that slide to the tangles?
And that's actually a vessel that is got amyloid around it. It's called amyloid angiopathy, and it's part of the cause of vascular dementia.
زي ما احنا شايفين تحديدا السلايد اللي موجوده قدامنا دي، زي ما دكتور كوتمان شرح، ده وعاء دموي موجود في المخ، وزي ما احنا شايفين الترسيبات اللي موجوده عليه اللي هي بالبرتقاني دي، ده فعشان كده الاوعيه الدمويه بتتسد وبيحصل نوع زي ما احنا قلنا من مشاكل او الدم، الامداد الدموي اللي رايح للمخ بيتاثر. So now the important part, we know the symptoms now of Alzheimer. We diagnosed Alzheimer. The management, which is the most important part. How we manage or how we treat?
Well, both. And I think part of it is in families that are at risk particularly, and as people get older, I think there's a number of modifiable risk factors that can be undertaken to help reduce the risk.
Okay.
And physical inactivity, as I was mentioning, is number one. Smoking is definitely a risk factor. Untreated depression, diabetes, and lack of cognitive stimulation and low education. But cognitive stimulation is also, just like physical activity is a preventive, so is cognitive stimulation. And so one wants to keep active, and learning and thinking and challenging the brain, almost like brain training.
Right. So you have to keep your brain, use it or lose it.
That's the key. Use it or lose it, and you gotta use it to keep using it. So basically, then. These things are very exciting, and there are clinical studies going on in the U.S.
Yeah, let's please talk about the clinical studies. If people want to enroll themselves in those clinical studies, how can they do it?
Yeah, well, if they look at the web, the Alzheimer's Research Centers, the ADRCs, are the places where the NIH, or the National Institute of Health, government health agencies are conducting studies. And we have... We're currently doing a study on exercise in people with mild impairment called EXERT, the exercise trial, EXERT, and that's available on the web. But we're looking for people to enroll now, and those that are interested around the Irvine area could call 824-80008.
Again, the phone number is
949-824-80008. 3 zeros and an 8.
So اللي كان بيتكلم دكتور كوتمان عليه ازاي نحاول نقلل البروجريشن بتاع المرض ده. رقم واحد قال الاكسرسايز ده مهم جدا. رقم 2 ان احنا نحاول نحافظ على ضغط الدم، وده شيء نقدر نعمله، فلو نقدر نعمله يبقى كويس جدا. الحاجه الثالثه انه مرضى السكر يحافظوا على نسبه السكر في الدم عندهم كويس جدا. الحاجه الرابعه ان احنا دايما نمرن مخنا، وهساله دلوقتي ايه هي طرق تمرين المخ. الحاجه المهمه جدا كمان ان كل الناس اللي عندهم المشكله دي ويقدروا يساهموا في الابحاث اللي موجوده دلوقتي، هو قال رقم مهم جدا حضرتك تقدر تكلمه وتحط نفسك من ضمن الابحاث دي عشان تقدر تساعد غيرك. الرقم هو 949-824-0008. ده مهم جدا ان انت تكلم الرقم ده لكل المقيمين هنا في ساوثرن كاليفورنيا عشان يشتركوا في الابحاث العلميه اللي موجوده على الالزهايمر. ويا رب عن طريق الناس العظيمه اللي زي دي ان احنا نقدر في يوم نجد مجال. الرقم هو 949-824-0008 وده موجود في إيرفاين. I have a question: how we train our brain, how we exercise our brain.
Well, you know, I think it's really interesting area, and you know, I'm a professor, so I'm constantly thinking and using my brain and reading articles, having to remember them, repeat them, analyze them, you know, and so I'm using it all the time. But you know, I think sometimes when you don't stay tuned up, I think it's just like an athletic event.
Right.
You know, you got to practice, you got to work at it, and keep your brain going. And
go to your brain gym every day.
Well, I think what happens when people, you know, don't do formal learning, they lose the skills and the skill sets, and then some of the results. And so I'm a firm believer in constantly, you know, using your brain to try and learn and remember and repeat things and learn new skills.
Sure. 2 more questions. The first one is the nutrition for Alzheimer's.
Oh, yes.
How we eat right,
Yes.
trying to prevent the memory problems.
Besides activity and so on, that we have to have a good diet.
Okay.
And there is this diet called the MIND diet,
Okay.
which is a very cute set of you know.
The MIND diet.
The MIND
غذاء
diet.
المخ. Okay.
You can look it up on the internet, and the key is green leafy vegetable, green leafy greens, and berries, and then fish,
Omega-3.
with moderation. Avoid red meats, which is basically, you know, generally talked about now. But there is, if you look up the MIND diet, it will give you a formula and some of the other studies and reference the studies that you can look into. And I strongly recommend it.
Okay.
Diet makes a huge difference in people's life.
What about medications in the market? Choline esterase inhibitors. And,
and there's a whole series of medications that actually do alleviate some of the symptoms of Alzheimer's disease, and particularly the cholinergic areas, Cognex, Remenda, and so on. And there's also another one that tries to slow it down.
The receptor antagonist.
And there's a receptor antagonist. I mean, it's basically, if you look under Alzheimer's Association and current medications, it tells you where the trials are and how you can go into them.
What do you think about those medications? Does it help to decrease the progression?
Right now we have not found a medication that will slow the progression of Alzheimer's disease. Okay. We can only push up, we can only step on the accelerator and keep it going for a little longer.
Okay.
Very unfortunate. But right now, there's multiple clinical trials, and I'm very optimistic that we're turning the corner to really be able to control this disease. And it's taking research and money and support from the government and to private individuals all over. And so, you know, support your local Alzheimer's research. It's very important.
الحقيقه انا سالت دكتور كوتمان طرق التغذيه الصحيحه، فقال لي وكلكم اعملوا سيرش على الموضوع ده، اسمه مايند دايت او تغذيه المخ. وقال لي الحاجات المهمه جدا هي كل ما هو اخضر، الاوراق الخضراء والسلطات والحاجات دي، الجرين ليفز بشكل عام بتاثر. الحاجه الثانيه المهمه جدا انه البيريز اللي هم الفراوله والستروبري والبلو بيريز والحاجات دي والبلاك بيريز، لانه دول مهمين جدا. قال كمان الاسماك اللي هي فيها ماده الاوميجا 3 ودي مهمه جدا 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 للمخ. والمره الجايه اوعدكم ان احنا في فقره هيلثي هام وهير وكيدز healthy him وهير تحديدا هنتكلم على المايند دايت. الحاجه الثانيه اللي اتكلمت فيها قال انه تمرينات للمخ، قال ان انت مثلا كل الناس اللي قاعده في البيت تحاول تقرا مقالات في الجرايد، تحاول تقرا مقالات على الانترنت، تحللهم وتحاول تعيدهم مع نفسها وهي استوعبت ايه وتحاول تعيدهم تاني، لانه فكره استخدم مخك قدر الامكان، ودي زي التمارين الذهنيه، ان انت تقرا ارتكلز كل يوم، تقرا حاجه جديده كل يوم وتحاول تعيدها مع نفسك، ده شيء مهم جدا وبيمرن مخك كل يوم. الحقيقه الادويه اللي موجوده في السوق في نوعين كبار منهم، هو الحاجات اللي بتشتغل على الاسيل الكولين، ودي ماده كيميائيه قالوا ان هي لو موجوده بشكل كبير جدا بتساعد فكره الذاكره. الحاجه الثانيه المهمه جدا اللي هي النامدا ريسبتور انتاجونست الميمنتين، سالته ايه رايك في الادويه اللي موجوده في السوق، فقال لي الحقيقه انه كل الادويه اللي في السوق بتقلل بس انه المرض يزداد سوءا تدريجيا، ولكن ما فيش علاج لحد دلوقتي لمرض الالزهايمر، ولكن الادويه اللي موجوده في السوق بتساعد ان احنا بس نقلل البروجريشن بتاعه. دي كان عن كل الادويه اللي موجوده في السوق. اتكلمنا على الاكسرسايز بتاع المخ، اتكلمنا على الدايت اللي المفروض نتبعه، وزي ما وعدت حضراتكم هجيبه المره الجايه في الحلقه الجايه. At the end, we're very honored to have you today in White Coat. Thank you so much for all your effort and research about Alzheimer, and God bless your research. And we hope to have you again one more time in White Coat.
Thank you. It was a pleasure talking to everyone about this important and timely topic.
بنشكر حضراتكم على حسن المتابعة. الأسئلة اللي جات لي على صفحتنا على الفيسبوك كالمعتاد هجيب إجاباتها من دكتور كوتمان بعد الحلقة، وهرجع لكم بإجاباتها زي ما احنا متعودين مع بعض. بشكركم على حسن الاستماع، واشوفكم إن شاء الله الأسبوع الجاي في حلقة جديدة من وايت كوت.